Hello guys and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we'll see about the example of the recursion. So in the previous lecture I would have told you that we're going to see the factorial using recursion. Let's go on with it. So this concept named factorial you would have already learned in your schools, so anyway I'll just take you through it. So first it's 0 factorial. So you would have already known about this. So the 0 factorial. So what is the answer of 0 factorial? Yes, it's 1. And moving on to the next, the answer for 1 factorial is nothing but type in the number and into the number lesser than that. So the number lesser than that is 0 factorial. So we already know that 1 into, so we already know that the factorial of 0 is 1, so 1 into 1 we have 1, so the factorial of 1 is 1. Now moving on to the next, which is 2 factorial, and over here 2, type in the number and into a number lesser than that, which is 1 factorial, and type in the number, so that we already know the value of 1 factorial, which is 1, so it's 1 and the answer is 2. Moving on to the next, which is 3 factorial. So type in the number and into and a number lesser than 3, so it's 2 factorial, and we already know the value of 2 factorial, so the 2 factorial answer is 2 and we have 6. This is the last one that I'm going to explain it to you all. So 4 factorial, so type in the number 4 into a number lesser than that, which is 3 factorial, so 4 into, so what is the answer of 3 factorial? So we already know that, and if you just check, we have the answer as 24. So this is about the factorial on the side of mathematics. Now when it comes to Python, we're going to deal it in a different way, like we're going to deal it with functions. So let's get on with it. So def, and I'm going to name my function as factorial, and inside this I'm going to give an argument, so let me give it as n, and now I'm going to give some conditions to it using the if and else statements. So if n is less than 2, it should return 1. So because if you give 0 or 1, the answer should be 1, so I've given the condition in that way. So else it should return n into a number lesser than that. So if you just give this way, we're not going to get the answer. Instead we have to type in the function and we have to give the arguments, that is we have to give the n-1 inside the brackets. So that's it. Now moving on to the last step. So now I have to call, so I have to assign a variable, let's say result equal to factorial, and inside this I'm going to call 2, and let me just print it. If you just check the output, there you go, the factorial of 2 is 2. Even in mathematics we have the factorial of 2 as 2. So you might wonder, this is just a small number, let's try with 4 and let's check whether it returns us the answer. There you go, it returns us 24. So let me just explain you what happens inside the program. So I've defined a function, and if the number that I've given here is 1 or 0, so let's try with that too. So if it's 1, it's gonna return me 1. So if it's 1, it's gonna get inside the if statement and it'll return me 1. That's it. So this is about 0 and 1. So let's try with 0 also. There you go, it returns us 1. So what if I give above 1? So I'll try with 3 and it returns me 6. So what happens over here is I've given 3. Since the n is greater than 1, it moves to the else and it just comes here. It returns 3. So let me just type it. It returns 3, and what it does is it comes over here. The function is called again with a number lesser than that, so it moves up and it returns that number, which is into, just don't forget this operator, and a number lesser than that, which is 2, and once again it comes over here, it calls again with a number lesser than 2, so it's 1, and again it moves up, it comes down, and it prints a number lesser than 1, so 1 minus 1 is nothing but 0. So this is the operation that happens over here. So I hope you guys understood the concept behind this factorial. The concept that I've used over here is nothing but recursion. So that's it for this lecture. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.